Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and this is Me We Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and many online. Today is our online awakening panel, and the theme today is Galactic Guidance. We have 5 practitioners on the panel tonight that specialize in this. They will be sharing guidance with you. We'll be talking about what galactic guidance is as well. So you'll be hearing from the practitioners on the panel about who they are, what they do, how galactic guidance is part of their work, and how they could be of service to you tonight in answering questions. We'll be available to answer questions on anything, any topic. It might involve galactic guidance, and it might include other things as well. We're happy to have you with us here. It's free to be here to listen and learn, and it's a small price to ask a question of the panel. I'll be putting more information about the practitioners on the panel in the chat, and you can also find all the information at on Facebook, where you learned about the event tonight, probably. Yeah, let's get started doing our introductions and say a little more as we go on. If you're all right, we didn't check into this ahead of time. Maybe let's go in the same order that we did before. Celestial Mystic Christina, you want to go first? And thanks so much.
All right. My name is Christina. I'm a celestial mystic, and I'm the owner of Crystal Quartz Metaphysical Shop. I perform multidimensional soul intuitive readings and cosmic clarity consultations. Basically, when you have a reading with me or you have a consult with me, we kind of dive into specifically if you are having any experiences where you're having visits by quote unquote ETs or extraterrestrials. If you're having dreams, meditations, and things are popping up to you and you need better understanding of why these things are occurring to you, that's a good reason to book a cosmic consult with me. Majority of the time when I'm doing readings or the consult, if you are getting visited by higher beings, more than likely they're tied to you genetically. Most people don't even think of why these people are assigned to them, why they're showing up. It's because you either have a contract with them or some type of binding with them, genetically with them, and that's why they've assigned themselves to assist you. With that being said, when I became awakened to myself and the ties that I had to the higher realms, the galactic realms, it all started in the higher cosmos, getting in touch with my higher star family, and then it trickled down into the 3D and with my ancestors down in this realm. So being a celestial mystic and having access to cosmic knowledge that quote unquote some people consider is a cult, because of my genetics and my birthrights, I'm able to tap into the higher realms down to the lower realms. So once again, when you're having these consults and having these readings, I basically give you a broadband, I'm sorry, multidimensional view of having your ties to galactic origins. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much. All right, let's see, where did we go? I think next we have Christina B.
Christina B. Hi, everyone. So I am a cosmic channel, Akashic record reader, and healer. And I just want to give a brief intro how I actually got to meet my galactic family. So I was born intuitively, as an intuitive, but I wasn't really encouraged as a child to hone those skills. But I remember even when I was really young, having a really strong connection to the night star, the night sky, the moon. I felt very connected to the universe. I felt like I belonged there. When I was young, I was already kind of thinking about like, what's the universe? Where does it end? What's infinity? And I remember as a child that I knew the answers, but by the time I was almost getting to the answer, I was kind of blocked. So I felt always had this infinity. And for me, I actually only got really activated later in life, when I was already working intuitively and I was speaking to my guides and I was feeling them, but I never had a real image of them. Like other people say, oh, my guides look like that and they have a tiger with them, and I didn't really see them. And so at one day I made that declaration of like, I'm really ready to meet my guides. And so I went into really deep meditation, and I was taking kind of up into the universe or into the galaxy, far, far out, to a place where I met a being that looked more like an alien. A little bit scary at first because I thought my guides would be like angels or Palladians. And my guide is an Arcturian. And so I really had to embrace that and say, oh, okay, so you're my family. I thought you would look different, but hey, I'm glad we found each other, or now I know who you are. And once I really embraced that, that's when really my galactic channeling opened up, and different galactic beings would start coming in, especially my energy healing sessions. And so I got really curious about the topic, and I was just inhaling all the information on galactic history. You know, where do we come from? What are the different species? What are the agendas out there? What are the different beings? And I got also certified as a Galactic Akashic record reader by Debbie Solaris. And I'm really excited. I love connecting with all beings in the world, but also outside this world. And how I work with them is usually that when I do a reading, and especially healing, I usually do start with a prayer or an invocation, and I invite the galactic consciousness in from the highest source. So I also make sure that only, light beings come in. And I tell them whoever needs to come in to help with a specific client or session to please make themselves available, either help with the healing or deliver messages for the clients. And that's how I like to work. I also like to do starseed readings and really help people connect with who their cosmic or galactic brothers and sisters are. I believe this is really important for us to awaken, to activate, and to prepare on this ascension process for hopefully a unification that's coming down the pipelines. And I think that's it in terms of time. But again, I do virtual healing, galactic readings, and trainings as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see. So I think then we've got Tiffany and Ash and Troy, and in terms of, there are just some images that some of the practitioners are possibly going to share too. And so you can show them on your screen, share your screen, have them as your background, whatever you want to do. All right, great. Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Rose, intuitive coach. I also am a spiritual business coach as well. Where do I even start with the Galactics? I'll just start with that. I was born into a cult family, both parents very deep into their religion. And so all of my spiritual gifts I was taught to block them as a child, basically. And it wasn't until, I think I was having premonition dreams in my late teens and 20s. And I remember being really little and going, how'd I get in this thing? And remember my parents calling for me, and I'm like, I think those people want you to go over there. Do I have to listen to them? Just having those thoughts of knowing that I wasn't this wasn't all there was. But, with the conditioning with cult religion over years, you kind of forget who you are in the soul sense. Well, in 2020, my mom sent me a video of a girl from Andromeda saying that the girl was basically me on the video. I was like, yeah, okay, Mom, I'll look at your video, whatever. But she was right. The girl looked like me, talked like me. Everything on the video was like me. So that was really when I heard of Starseeds. And the following year, Mom and I went to the Galactic Convention in Mount Shasta, where we hung out with a lot of people who had been off world, who had encounters with beings and different things. Alex Collier, if you've ever seen him on YouTube. There was Laura Eisenhower, who was the great granddaughter of President Eisenhower, and was talking about government involvement with off-worlders and, how they'd been hiding the truth from us and all of that. Well, during that convention, which was 3 days long, there was an Arcturian woman. She claimed to be a hybrid, like her one parent from Earth, one parent from Arcturus. She led a group meditation and invited Arcturians down. And I was still really very much a skeptic at that point, but I closed my eyes and I said, can I see you? And to my surprise, they let me see them. So I was really doubting whether that was even real. I left and looked up on the internet, what do Arcturians look like? But it was very real. So lately, I've been having a white Arcturian come in. And at first, I didn't know if there was even a gender or what they wanted, but they were clearly coming in to heal me. I could feel tingling all over my head like I was being healed. And a few days later, the same Arcturian came in again, and I asked, can I know your name? And I heard the name Vianne. And I was like, no, Grandma Vianne with the Jehovah's Witness. There's no way you're my grandma. Are you kidding me? So this goes along with what Celestial Christina was talking about with genetics. And I really wanted to say that I really agree with that. It is my grandma that's coming in, and she's been talking to me the whole time since she passed away, but it was never coming in as a off-worlder. So I saw her, felt her, talked with her. And then lately I've been having in my galactic astrology sessions, ancestors who are tied to the lineage of, whoever the client is that I'm working on. It's like the father's sister, and she's in the Orion constellation and telling me what star she's closest to. And so you can get galactic astrology readings from me off my website. You can also get channeled galactic art. This piece was actually designed just for tonight for me. So these are available on the front page of my website. You can get Zoom backgrounds that are channeled, and also custom pieces of art that are only for you. No one else will ever have it. And I'm going to say that Ash, who's the next person to speak, is the one creating this art. I'm channeling the information. So you can see the golden up here is my soul essence, because when you look at my chart, it very clearly indicates that I came from the angelic realm and then incarnated with Arcturus and Spica and then Orion. So the golden up here is my soul essence, and the purple and blue is coming in with my aura in this incarnation. So you can get all of that on my website. Thank you.
It's great. Thank you. And I know there's so much you're all wanting to share. So we're going to come back and do another round too. All right. Ash is next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ashwin. I want to start off by saying fascinating stories here. And I also love creating that art. So if you do want a Zoom background, do connect with Tiffany, and then we'll work on getting you customized backgrounds. It's a lot of fun creating it, and some wonderful stuff comes through. So I grew up in India, and I was an intuitive kid ever since I was little. My earliest memories of neighbors and relatives coming over, and I would blurt something out and then be hushed away into the other room. And I've had paranormal activity around me. It used to be fun. I used to show things to my friends. But much like maybe some others here, it was never nurtured. It was never seen as a standalone thing that should be nurtured. It was just part of me. And then I grew up and I kind of fell out of it. It never left me. I was always an empath. I felt other people's energies, their emotions very strongly. It was easy to know how other people felt, literally like being in their body, being in their field fully, not just a disconnected understanding of what emotions they might be going through, but actually fully feeling them. So I am an empath. I am intuitive. And I've also had a strong connection to galactics ever since I was a kid. One of my earliest memories is all of a sudden when I was a kid, maybe somewhere between 7 and 10 years old, I started going to the window at night, looking up at the sky, looking up at space, and repeating my address and saying, "Here I am, come get me." And I would do this repeatedly, and I would do this every night. So, and from my child's perspective, I was giving them my address so they could find me again and come and get me, because I enjoyed their company so much. And so this has been a part of my life ever since I was a child. And then in my 20s, I had some really transformative experiences, which could be called sightings, daylight and nighttime sightings. So for example, I was in a pickup truck with a friend of mine. We were going down Highway 99 in Central California, and I look to the right and I see a red blinking light going along us at the same speed, matching the same speed. It's tough to describe when you view how they move. It's just such a smooth movement. It's like effortless. And it's no matching like another vehicle is trying to match you, and there's a little bit of a lag. And then I pointed that out to my friend, and my friend says, "Well, there's one on his side." So I looked and I saw that one too. So we watched these two. We got off at an exit, I think it was called Arch Road. And this was back in the 90s. So he had to use a phone. So he had to use a payphone. We didn't have cell phones. He pulled over, went to the payphone. And in my mind, I kept saying, I don't want to believe just anything. I want to know who this is and who you are. Are you really who I think you are? And so he went to the payphone, and I watched these two lights stop blinking, slowly go down and land on the side of the hill facing the Bay Area. And then there was one flash and one zip right out of the atmosphere, and there was another flash and it just zipped right out. And I had several such encounters. And so they were back in my life in quite a vivid manner to let their presence be known. And I've had some daylight sightings too that maybe I can discuss some other time. So I am primarily an intuitive and an empath. I do energy work also. I do energy clearing. I work with a specific energy that really clears out debris from people's fields. So that there's something that's been waiting to come in, but cannot come in because you've got debris in your field or the energy is not aligned right, I do energy work to clear that and align your field also to bring that in. And with the Galactic guidance, I will use my empathy skills and my intuitive skills to see if the Galactic partners have anything to say in response to your questions. And I'm online at cupoflight.xyz, not .com, .xyz. All right, thank you.
Thanks so much, Troy, and then we'll come back around.
Hello, everyone. My name is Troy J. Bacon, and I am a walk-in healer. A walk-in is when another soul or soul aspect comes in, usually for an exchange of a soul that was already living in a body, and it's done by soul contract for a benevolent purpose for ascension. And I want to say that my walkout, call him my walkout brother, was always very open to and almost always believed in the idea of intelligent beings from other planets and star systems visiting Earth. And it was just sort of a natural belief. There were times that he would go out on his quiet little dead-end street in front of his house, the childhood house he lived in, and just look up at the stars or look up at the blue sky, and wonder when they're going to come back, when they're going to come out of the sky again. And it was just sort of these little brief moments that he would think of that and then walk off and not think of it anymore. But yeah, I know that he had lifelong contact, and that's actually where I come from, is the Gray and Mantis group, one of the branches from the Galactic Federation that is here, and I came from one of the gray bodies and he went to that one too, and so we're kind of a tag team. But I also come from the Sirius star system as a soul, and I bring in some Sirian energy and wisdom, and I have a unique process of I call it an energy portal, but a portal I open up above someone's head, and that's a tool and process I use for clearing and activating and healing. And I have not heard of anyone else doing that in the way that I do. And so I believe that's a very unique thing that comes from my past lives, both on Earth and I feel from Sirius and other star systems. And so that's an advanced, I consider it a fairly advanced and effective part of my healing process. And in this lifetime, I'm certified in hypnotherapy and Reiki. A lot of what I do often involves past lives and past life regression to revisit where there are blockages. There are also strengths too, but my sessions always involve the clearing of what's blocking someone, energy blockages, traumas, fears, stuff from this life and others. And after some clearing and also alchemizing of things, then there's the activation of their soul's purpose. And that can be done in hypnosis as well as Reiki. Reiki kind of also complements hypnosis, I found. I think I was doing that really, sending Reiki energy healing stuff before I even learned Makeiwa Sui Reiki. And so that's just a part of my natural process. So my business is called New Being Hypnosis, and I currently live in Seattle, but I do a lot of my sessions online, and that can be done practically from anywhere in the world, as long as you have Wi-Fi and service to connect. I'm starting to teach hand chakra awakening and soon going to teach energy protection technique classes, thinking of structuring longer workshops and classes too soon. New Being Hypnosis, and tonight I am offering by donation discovery sessions to get a sense of what I do and what that's like. The Galactic guidance part of it for me is relevant because often star seeds or star beings, star people, my star family and others come through from star systems for bringing in healing energy. My healing is never just me, it's always with other beings too. Tonight, I'm also offering a 50% off alchemical hypnosis or Reiki session with the code raised up 50. And so that's in the chat. And I look forward to chatting and working with you.
Thanks so much, Troy. All right, let's wander around back to Celestial Mystic Christina.
Yeah, while I was sitting here hearing everyone's background story and things like that, it just hit me that I should share some of the pictures that I have relating to this subject. So the first one that I'm going to share, short background, like I said, when I came into, became reawakened, let's just say that, at the wonderful age of 33, and had my whole energetics upgraded, and a lot of the memories that I obviously forgot about as a child, they came flooding back to me. And one of the things that came back is that I always remembered being watched and talked to all the time. Like it felt like I had like a counsel always around me, either guiding me or critiquing me every single second of the day. And like I said, I forgot about this stuff, but when I came back online, all this stuff came back to me. So with that memory, I started asking, okay, I need to know who you guys are. And it took probably a couple months for someone to finally come through and reveal themselves to me. But basically during a meditation, here we go. This is the drawing of a galactic being, if you want to just call it that, that revealed himself to me and basically took me to another, you can call it a realm, a planet, not really sure, but I know it was a completely different place that reminded me of Lake Tahoe with the mountains, the huge lake, whatnot. And he was kind of like my guide. And he was talking to me telepathically, because you know they don't really talk to you using a voice. That's very beneath them. And basically he just gave me a tour, kind of Vanna White me around the area. And then we had a discussion. I'll keep that to myself. And then he sent me back. And as soon as I came out of the meditation, I tried to draw what he looked like. And basically everything that I was able to capture, he was a lion. As you can see, the kind of the lines that are where the nose brow is, it was wrinkled like a cat. And then he had the cat eyes, the ears. And the thing is, he was kind of a bluish tint of a fair-skinned being with long, like white, blondish white hair. And it kind of reminded me of like the elves from Lord of the Rings. That's what he kind of looked like, except that he had a feline looking type face. The next one I'm going to share is, let me see, how do I switch to a new one? Okay, here we go.
Well, either stop share and share your whole desktop, or stop share and share the new window.
I found it. Okay, here we go. The next one I'm sharing is an actual picture of one of my selves. If you guys don't know, you are multidimensional, and that's not just, you know, a concept that people throw out there. You literally have selves on either other dimensions, other timelines, and whatnot. And a woman that I met a few years ago, she does Starseed natal chart readings. And one of the things that came up was my connection to the star Regalis in the constellation of Leo. And I don't know if anyone watched the Starseed panel last month, but as I was kind of coming into this and realizing that that was my connection to Leo. I always thought it was just because my birthday's in August, but I had a very strong connection with lions, with felines, with the color blue, all of that. And when she drew myself, this is what she gave me. I'm a white feline being from the star system of Regalis. And that was the kind of the higher cosmos down to the 3D realm connection that I had, and why I was so in tune and connected to lions. So that's one of my selves that is still out there, that communicates to me, assists me, and actually is sitting on my council. And then another one I just want to share real quick is this wonderful self. This is my ninth dimensional self. This is I'm I guess you could say like a avian reptilian priestess that is on a council in the constellation of Sirius. We didn't go into too much depth of which star in that Sirius star system that I'm a priestess of, but this is my 9D self. That one of the things, I don't know if we'll dive into that, but when you see like an etheric kind of look to someone and they have wings, the wings is like your access to the different dimensions. And as you can see, there's 9 wings. So that's my 9D self. And then also when she showed me this, it kind of, once again, a Wallach type moment of why I have this strong connection to peacocks and why when, the peacocks with their wings, spanned out like that, their tail, it looks very similar to this. So I just wanted to share that just to kind of bring into perspective when we're talking about galactic, and I'm talking about, I know my multidimensional selves. These are some of them that I actually have connections to, that I speak to, and they assist me through my walk on this realm. And they can also assist me sometimes when I'm doing readings for particular people. All right.
Great, thanks so much. And we can continue to go around. So Christina B, is there anything else that you want to share?
Great. I'll just, so many beautiful things being shared here. So I'll piggyback on some of what has been said. So first of all, like Tiffany, when you talked about at some point when you were opening up and you were healing or you were receiving healing, I had a similar experience after I met my Arcturian guide, where sometimes my guides like to send me in the middle of the night to the living room. I don't know why. And when I get myself there, usually something happens or I get some healing or some messages. And one of the first nights after that happened, I was going to the living room, and they put and they have 3 fingers, so they put them on my third eye. They were kind of that purpley color that my guys have more of the purple violet hue. But again, this is all frequency, right? Color is frequency, so it doesn't necessarily mean they all look the same. They have different frequencies and appearances. So that was really cool. And also piggybacking on what Christina is also talking about, the different beings and how important it is for us to connect with the other side of us, whether we say it's past life, everything is right now happening at the same time, right? So it's quantum. And I remember when I was, I think it was the first time I went into Akashic records to find out about my past lives on other planets. And one of the first experiences I reviewed was actually my life as a feline being, as actually also a lion, but in the Lyra system. So we were neighbors. But I actually was there during the destruction of one of the Lyran planets. And I mean, I had heard about it, but I actually was reliving the trauma in this experience, which was really, really emotional. It still is for me. And I was rescued, to one of the Galactic Federation starships. So I saw all of that and different beings on that Galactic Federation starship. So you know, we all watch things on Netflix, so it can be very confusing, and we're like, is this really real? But you know, there's so much diversity on our planet, and there's even greater diversity in the galaxy and the universe. And I think it's very important for us to start opening up to all of these different beings and experiences, and I think it can only enrich us and help us heal. And especially with the line review for me, which was really cool because of going into the meditation. Yeah, again, like we all want to, you know, I didn't necessarily want to be a lion. I wanted to be an angel or something really celestial, beautiful, looking, floating. And when I saw the lion, and the lions, of course, are on 2 feet. The feline beings are maybe cat-like, but they're on 2 feet. And they come in all kinds of varieties, from something that looks really like a lion and to something that is like a hybrid between maybe human and lion, or puma, or, you know, more, or different species mixed together. So there is an endless variety of beings out there, and they're beautiful. And I remember in that meditation, the first time when I was feeling into this body, I could feel, you know, when cats have that pillow under their foot, I could feel that bouncy feeling in my legs, and I was like, this is not my human body, and it was really amazing. Anyway, I wanted to share that. Plus also, many of us are starseeds or identify. I definitely am a starseed, but I'm not identified with one particular origin. I'm multidimensional starseed. I know I've been on many, many different planets. So I know I've been on Arcturus many times. I've been on Lyra, I've been on Sirius, been on Palladius. So I'm not limiting myself, and I'm just like really excited and inviting in to learn what other planets I've been on. So for me also, it's an ongoing journey. So thank you.
Great, thanks so much. All right, Tiffany.
I don't even know where to begin. I feel like I have to respond to both of you.
Oh, and I should say too,
Celestial Christina, what?
I was going to say, we had a bunch of new people join since you introduced yourselves to each of you. So if you want to say just a tiny little bit again of context, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I'm intuitive Tiffany Rose, a spiritual coach and a galactic astrologer, amongst a lot of other titles on my website that you can see if you go look. Hi, if you just came on, I'm going to say some things to these 2 ladies just because. So Celestial Christina, when you were talking about the Elven, you know, in the beginning, you were talking about, I already knew it was Leo Regulus, and I was like, I was going to pull the thing up and show you. And then you said it right afterwards. And I was like, yes, she already knows. And I was born in August too. So, and I have peacocks, and I painted a peacock. So it's weird that you were saying all of those same things. We're talking about all these different types of galactic beings: Lyrans, Syrians, Arcturians, Pleiadians. But I just want to say they're all galactic cousins, because when, you know, things went down in Lyra and, you know, some of their planets got blown up, everybody took off and in spaceships, and they were looking for somewhere safe to hide. Well, if they went to places that weren't the right makeup for the bodies that they had, some of the groups were genetically modifying themselves rather than messing with the ecosystems on those planets. So a lot of the races came from the same place, but then they traveled out and started new colonies, so to speak. And then we have these different groups. But we've, you know, when you look at a galactic chart, you're going to see that you've incarnated with tons of these groups in thousands of years worth of lives. So we really have all these different aspects to ourselves. In my chart, I have Lyra Vega, and they were the spiritual, the mystics, the ones who were studying, the ones who brought the ancient teachings to India is what I've read about them. And I also have Sirius A, which was more a lot of humans on Sirius A. I don't have any placements with Sirius B, and that's more water, more of an aquatic planet. And so all of these placements, I've gone to all these places and incarnated. When you're calling in galactic ancestors, I mean, you're going to have some from each of those groups that you could be talking about, but they're only going to come forth when they feel that you're ready. They don't want to scare you. So just wanted to say that. And do you guys want to see a little bit more channeled art? So all of this art, I'll just show you a few by changing my background really quick. All of these pieces were created specifically for me, but they're examples of things that you could get if you were to order it for yourself. So I'll just click through some of these and go off to the side so you can see.
Are these all Ash's pieces or do they come from different places?
Yep. No, all of these are Ash.
They're incredible.
So then this is the first time that I've seen Ash announce all these, the artwork that you're doing. Did you have it at one of the other fairs?
That's because
before?
I hijacked him.
Is this really your first? Yeah, this is your first display.
So Ash blew me away with his art, and I said, we have to do something, you know, like show it off. Okay, so I don't know if I think I'm done talking. Are you guys ready for the
Yep.
next person?
This is great. Thank you for sharing. I guess, and the two of you, maybe do you want to share anything, just a little bit of like how this comes in and how the art pieces are coming about?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. So I was just doing this for fun, and I just offhandedly happened to ask Tiffany once, do you want me to create some Zoom backgrounds for you for your meetings and whatnot? She said, sure. So that's how this came about. But she gave me some guidance about her colors. We had talked about her galactic lineage. And so I do sit down with that and focus on that and try to create stuff or pull stuff with that in mind. So I'll let Tiffany talk more about her process, but she uses a similar process and then will give information to me and then I'll create the art.
So I've been showing off the art to people who come to me for galactic astrology readings, but also for other people. I coach businesses, spiritual businesses. So I channel based on their galactic chart and all of their placements. And, you know, I'll look at their origin versus maybe groups that they've been off-world with recently. And then give details about that to Ash. I also channel the soul essence. So it's your color of your soul over many, many lifetimes, not just your aura in this lifetime. And then I check for any colors that are coming in your aura now. And then what your aura colors are supposed to be just for this lifetime. So they all hold meaning. And when I saw this art, I mean, I was just so taken aback because it felt so personal. Like looking at these different pieces, I could see myself in them, you know, and just, yeah, it's just so cool. So I got really excited and I started writing down all these ideas, how we could collaborate and offer that globally, because I do a lot of international readings as well. And so being able to have something personal, you can't even get this art. I've tried to find this kind of art for myself and you can't. There's only one artist that I've found and she's in Europe and her name's Vashta and she's amazing, but no one else has it. So when I saw this and it felt so personal and it just like channeled for me, I was like, we got to offer this to people. This is so cool. So if you come get a galactic astrology reading, we can talk about your past lives and the themes that are playing out in this life. I've been able to trace my own past lives, quite a few of them, to events happening in this life. So once I figured out like that it was coming in from the past, then I could look at it differently and heal it. And now those cycles, you know, on those things that I discovered have stopped. So yeah, get your galactic astrology reading and then we can make art that's custom and no one else will ever have it. It's not going to be posted on the internet anywhere. It's specifically for only you, which is just, yeah. And the price is really low. You could get a piece of art specifically only for you for $55. Like that's crazy, crazy. And then you can get 4 Zoom backgrounds for $222. So, and it's all personal. Just saying.
Yeah, definitely do connect with her because she's got a few different offerings around that. And she talked about the $55 one that's actually tied into meditation and relaxation. Tiffany's got some meditation she'll provide along with that piece of art. And it may not look like this. We may just get a color from you and then work off of a color, but what that results in may be something you find really soothing and calming and then goes in line with the meditation that she provides. So it's not just having a piece of art, it's being in the, we want you to be in the space, and the art and the meditations will, help trigger you to go into a meditative in a good space where you could have connections with your galactic family.
Can you say anything about the artwork behind you?
I don't know what to say. I do this. I like it. I have fun. And I think it's just like any other art. It comes down to the person looking at it. And if it resonates with them, it somehow comes alive. I've done this art and I've looked at it and gone, I like it. But when, for example, Tiffany takes it and resonates with it and starts pointing things out, it really comes alive. So it's like any other art. I'll create it. I might like it. I enjoy the process. But when somebody receives it and they're able to look at it and it resonates with them is when it truly comes alive.
Great. So excited. All right. Anything else, Ash, you want to share in terms of responding to any of the things people have been saying, or anything else about you and your background? And then we'll come back to Troy again. And then we've got a question.
Sure, I do. I do want to say something. I want to piggyback a little bit on what Tiffany said. So it's important to keep in mind that our physical universe is really old. It's old in the amounts that are abstract to us, and we forget. We're not able to quantify and really understand what billions of years is. Really not. I mean, we're barely able to understand our own life span and look forward 20 or 40 years, or let alone understand the last 100 years. And we're talking billions of years. And so, as a soul, if you've chosen to be in this universe, one of many universes, and you decided you're going to explore everything that exists in this universe, there's a chance that you have lived and on other planets and other systems, and you have probably experienced things that don't exist anymore. We don't know what the early stages of this physical universe looked at. What was gravity like? There was obviously some things existing that still do. But what did time feel like? What elements existed? What type of planets were created? What type of life forms could be created back then that don't exist now? And a billion years from now, the things that exist now may not exist, and we may have completely new things, because the universe is always expanding and always asking, what else can I be? There was a time where there were no tables, because nobody had imagined a table. But there was a time there were no tables because there was no wood, because there were no trees. And the universe, in its process of asking, what else can I be, is always creating. And we as souls have a chance to experience this. And if you are here, or if in the future anybody's watching this recording, there's a really good chance that you have been around in this universe. You've had lifetimes on other planets, and you've had lifetimes with other souls who you met and knew. Just like in Earth, so many people, and through the several lifetimes on Earth, you're going to make a lot of friends and connections. And then they might decide to go somewhere else, like somebody you grew up with in the US might move to the UK. And so you may never go to the UK, but somebody from the UK might say, hey, what's up? So somebody from other systems may reach out to you because you've known them someplace else. And we're interconnected on the other side in ways that we don't understand. So I would say open yourself up. You'll be surprised to what comes through. If you just don't read anything to it, just receive it. It might just be a friend who's in a planet now that you were never born into, but that friend is saying, hey, what's up? Do you remember me? There are species who actually do retain their past life memories, including the whole grand cycles that they spend on planets. So they may remember you while we're human, have amnesia, and we're like, who are you? And we have a connection, and they're like, yeah, we've got long held and strong connection. So just keep yourself open. If you're here on Earth, you've likely lived on several planets before, and you have a lot of connections. And as you show up to panels such as this, it's a good way of getting that handshake, that introduction, and then you can explore that in your own time, in your own meditations.
Great. And JD, I say you have a hand up. Are you wanting to ask a question of the panel? Did you have a specific question for Ashton, or?
No, I just got some bad news. My stepdad's mother's, she's got,
JD, sorry, I'm just checking in though, but are you wanting to ask a question of the panel? Is that what you're wanting?
yes, I
We've got
am.
someone else in line already, so if you could just hold off, that would be great. And but we do want to connect with you, and we want to be able to support you. Thanks so much for coming and letting us do that. All right, Troy, and we'll get to you, JD, soon. We've got Melissa in line first.
Wow. Yeah, this is quite the panel. So I just want to first say eventually I want to talk with Tiffany and maybe Ashvin, but especially Tiffany later. I want to also talk about first my journey. So it's been quite crazy with this eclipse recently. I've been in a very rapid and constant subconscious clearing for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe it's been since the Galactic or the Starseed panel, but anyway, I've been doing major clearings. Yesterday I was in a Starseed persecution imprint clearing workshop, and that was amazing for like 4 hours, and feeling very clear from that. And I just today, in review of that, figured something out that I did not realize, as well as I wish I would have been taught by my hypnosis college, that I really think maybe I should start teaching in my classes soon. Basically that years ago, my walkout learned that you can visit a past memory or even a past lifetime and choose to leave that doorway open so that you have conscious recall and more information comes in from that lifetime. And so that's what I've been doing. But what I figured out today is that I need to stop doing that. And I think that nobody should live that way, because that just also opens up this highway of everything else from those lifetimes, the trauma, the fear, the behaviors, everything else. And even some of the good things, but still all the trauma and fearful stuff is there that blocks you. And so today I closed that door, and I think that's helping me a lot, and that's going to help me. And so that's what I think will be very useful for past life regression work. Is what it's really good for is only revisiting past lives, or pretty much only in that conscious way of focusing on them. But then after you come back, you really need to close the door, setting your own boundaries, I guess is a way of that. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. I know that I'm awakening to a lot more now. I've really been feeling called to do more work on my nonprofit for Uganda. That comes from past lifetimes too. I also, Laureli, am I able to screen share? There's one image.
You're your co-host.
Share.
You can now, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I want to share one image here. Or no, this is what I want. Yeah. Can everyone see this image?
Yeah, we can. The 4 pieces.
Yeah. This is a sketch that I made a while back of the insignia on the enemy ships that I saw through my eyes as a Syrian when I spontaneously re-entered that life. And this was on the Draco ships that I then commandeered Draco ships that my team and I rigged up and used to destroy the Draco planet, ending that war with Sirius A. And so there's a lot of karma stuff that I learned about recently that really laid over from that lifetime since my walk-in, and I remember all that. But yeah, so basically I saved Sirius A from a solar system-wide extinction or planetary destruction. They did split one of our planets, unfortunately, in half. And it was after that that the the Syrian Council gave me permission as then the newly appointed general of their Space Force to carry out this mission that destroyed a lot of Draco. Many were innocent, actually, but it was necessary to be able to protect the rest of the life in our solar system. And so it's kind of that unfortunate trade-off, even though I felt that karmic impact. And so, yeah, this is a symbol. And I just recently also revisited that lifetime and remembered the white crystal deserts, though, on Sirius, the planet Andara, the planet known as Andara of Sirius A. There's a lot I could go into the Syrian healing lineages. By the way, on this background on my screen here, there's this 16-pointed star
I
that,
can't see the background, I think.
okay, it will come up later. But yeah, the 16-pointed star is a teaching that I'm delineating. I think it's really the 16-fold life. There's a lot that I think it was actually the lifetime after. Looks like someone just entered the waiting room. Anyway, yeah, there was a Buddhist lifetime I remembered after that. I think it was in Sirius. It was on another planet, I know. But
Just maybe if you're not going to be sharing more images, could you stop sharing your screen? If you have more
Yeah.
images you want to show us, go
yeah,
ahead.
I can do that. And so since my walk-in, I've had this 16-pointed star image. I don't have the notebook here with me, but at a MIWI fair earlier this year in person, I channeled this 16-fold life teaching.
Is it to your left right now on the screen?
Yeah, it appears above this hexagonal tile. And so, yeah, that's interesting. So I also wanted to ask Tiffany, I'm curious to learn more about what you remember of your Syrian lifetime. Was it as a human or lifetimes there? Just maybe we crossed
There
paths.
were some human lifetimes, but I've also incarnated in the aquatic as a porpoise more than once. But yeah, definitely some human, but there's so many. Like some of the descriptions that Celestial Christina was giving, I've had those same descriptions. Like, you know, we know each other. We know each other off world, girl.
Were you asking me, Troy? Because I couldn't.
If you feel resonant with what I'm saying, then perhaps you could be open to commenting or hearing from you. And
Okay. Well, Sirius X, Xylanthia, that's what they call it. That's not its true name, but we'll go with that one. I also have memories and visit during a meditation also. I didn't know I had ties to it, but during meditation, I was actually portaled there. So obviously it wasn't just, oh, I was in a meditation and some things occurred to me, you know, during that time. No, I was taken somewhere. Even saw myself leaving my body, and I was portaled to the dark planet. That's what we'll call that. And though I guess you could say the female being that met me there, she was darkness. Like she was pure darkness. The only way you can actually see her was because she had like an outline of like a lava glow to her, but she was pure darkness. And I'm not going to pull up any pictures and anything like that, but she looked like an African tribal woman with one of those long pointed heads, and then they have the wraps around it. That's what she looked like, with full, you know, lips and everything. And that just blew my mind, because you see some of these things in these sci-fi movies where they don't walk, they glide. And that's what she was doing. She was gliding. And like I said, like the realm was dark, just like her, but in the distance you can see a glow of a city, you can see a glow of the sky, because that dark planet has It's the planet that's underneath the, I think it's Sirius C's, the sun that you can't see because of the wavelength of the energy it puts off. You can't see it with the naked eye, but to be there actually on the planet underneath it, it gives off a glow like a moon. So, you know, it could be dark outside, but when the full moon, you can still see because of the light that it emits off. So it's kind of similar to that. But yeah, encountering her and some of the other beings that were there, like I said, pure darkness. And the only way you could see them is because they had this glow around their frame and around everything that you can actually see them. And I also want to point out that majority of the time when you're talking about these higher realm beings, there's no physical body. It's etheric. It's plasma or antiparticle. That's the word. So that we're not talking about physical beings that walk around. Well, there are some that can walk around, but you can't see them because of the frequency they're on. But when we're talking about higher dimensional galactic beings, we're talking about antiparticle. We're talking about plasma. So I know it's sometimes hard to wrap our minds around that, but they're phasing in and out. That's the type of beings that we're dealing with in those higher realms.
It's energy that's emitting some sort of frequency that we as humans are able to perceive in some ways, but not.
Yes, sometimes, and other times because we can't perceive them, because we cannot, our physical senses and our body cannot even get on that level, we'll put it like that, that they'll drop themselves a few dimensions so we can register with them.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why they use a lot of symbolism, you know, numbers, colors, and things like that. Is because that's how they kind of speak to us. And they're expecting us to rise up to their level if they're willing to come down a little bit to us. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Even since my walk-in, I've had some direct, not like physical, but direct contact from Syrian council beings and Syrian beings. And they don't come around me all the time, but yeah, when they do, it's very like high level, high vibrational energy. And so one of the I think the first teaching they told me after my walk-in is about the conditioning of my body and mind and emotional stuff I had at the time. And they're advising me to work on that so that we could connect more. And yeah, it's all the filters and the conditioning that we accumulate and that are imposed on us that block us from not only other beings. Oh.
All right. Shift.
Okay. So what I was saying is it's the conditioning that we have since birth, some from our ancestors too, and that act as these filters really that block us from the higher vibrational beings contacting us as much as they do, or even us being aware of them too, that are around us all the time. But it's also that stuff, those filters, when we're not careful of them, that block us from more of the really high level energy that we can embody from our souls and from the aspects of our souls that are residing in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and even up to like 12th dimensional levels. And yeah, that's true.
Great. And Troy, yeah, if there's anything else you want to say in finishing up, and then it looks like Christina B has something, and I want to get over to our questions.
Okay, I'll let her go.
Great, Christina B.
It was just a very quick one in response to also what Christina said. Yes, of course, the higher the dimension, the less in real form or physicality they are. And I think it's also a reason why many people describe different beings slightly different, because it's also our interpretation and how they're presenting themselves to us. Because some people, for example, might be more comfortable with the angelic realm, and so they might see certain beings more in that form. So there's also some of that. And I also agree, the higher they are in their level, the more they need us to meet them halfway. And I can even say that for myself. This is why I need to work on my vibration every day. And if I'm in a good place, it's much easier for me to communicate with the masters and the higher beings. And if I'm getting drawn down into the 3D, it's a little bit more work for me and for them. So if anybody that's visiting us wants to connect more with their guides, working on your vibration every day is going to be key. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, well, let's leap. Oh, let me say a tiny bit about me, tiny bit, and then let's leap into some questions. I've not been introducing myself because this is not my specialty. Just want to mention I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. You can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com, matchmakingsoulmates.com, and I run all the MeWe fairs. All right, great. And Melissa's the first one to be asking a question today. So Melissa, if you want to turn on your video, I can put you up here on the stage with us. All right, great. Excited to hear your question and see how it fits in with the journey that we are all on tonight. When it can be about, oh, and that's right. Before you ask, let me say, when you ask a question of the panel, particularly in this format that is public and will be on the web, and anytime you work with a practitioner, if we go deeper than you want us to go, or we talk about topics you don't want us sharing about, please interrupt us and give us guidance so that we honor you in our answer. This is a great opportunity for all of you to learn from all that's asked and all that's answered, whether or not you ask a question. Well, this is a great opportunity to practice your intuition. So I encourage you to draw, scribble, do artwork electronically, whatever comes through you, to see if it's connected in some way to what we share as confirmation that we're all tapping into the same thing. And of course, you might have other relevant things come through that we don't mention. All right, Melissa, thanks so much for jumping up and supporting us and asking a question. What is your question tonight?
Hey, so first I should feel like I should say a disclaimer that I'm all very new to this. So my question is about guides, and my understanding is that guides and ancestors are there to support us, guide us, help us, take us to, kind of the path that we need to be on. My question is that, what happens when one of your ancestors does not have your best intentions in mind?
Are you asking somebody who has passed?
Yeah, so practitioners, and I was just saying, raise your hand when you're ready to answer. But if you had a question about the question, go ahead and jump in about that.
Thanks. Melissa, are you asking about an ancestor who was passed?
Yes,
Okay.
specifically my mother.
And I think it's a very relevant question for everyone because so many of us have ancestors that may still be caught in a place where they're not right, best intentions. All right, Ash, go ahead. You got a couple and a half minutes and I'll just let you know when you're getting close here like this, and then feel free to finish wherever you are. And all right, go ahead.
The first thing I'm going to say is compassion. Sometimes people die and they die stuck in their own emotions, their own belief systems. And sometimes they don't even realize that they're dead. And they need a helping hand on the other side when they cross over, just like we need a helping hand in life here. So this is not to say that if you are feeling that they're present in your life from the other side and exerting a negative influence, that you should simply allow it, because that would be an abusive relationship of sorts. But one of the easiest ways to work with an ancestor who's coming through, who feels like they may not have your best interest at heart, is for you to actually sit down in meditation or prayer and reach out to your own guides. Because the reason an ancestor may come through in a negative manner may be because they need some help. And by reaching out to your guide and saying, hey, can you please provide my deceased mother with the resources, tools, and the help that she needs to resolve whatever issues that's keeping her tied to me. You, in essence, do end up helping yourself, but you provide a very compassionate way of helping somebody who's passed over, who may not be ready to truly move over and give up this life and go into a life review. They may be stuck in their patterns still. They may be afraid if she held strong beliefs. Yeah, she may be very afraid of the other side and maybe clinging on to things on this side. So that's one way of approaching it, is by sitting down and asking your guides, and then you just pay attention, give it time. If your mother has some things to work through, she may need some time to work through it. So if you sit down one night and the next morning everything isn't clear, don't give up. Just sit down and repeatedly just sit with your guide with compassion and kindness. Ask your guide to work with your mother. The other side is busier and has more beings than the physical plane. There are plenty of specialists out there who will show up if the request is put out there. It's important to ask. They will show up and they will offer help to your mother. At the end of the day, she will have the choice to say yes, no, and accept or reject the help. But at least that help will be there. And at some point she will say, well, this isn't working out. It just seems fruitless. So maybe I will listen to the help that's being provided, and that'll help her, and then it'll end up helping you. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashman. All right, we've got Christina B next, and then Tiffany. Oh, wait, Christina B, then Troy, then Tiffany.
Okay, I'm just hearing something in the background, so I don't know if that's.
I think it's Melissa. Melissa, would you mind reading and then? Or
Sorry.
Okay, so Melissa, thanks for coming and asking us the question. My first question was really when you say that your past mother has maybe not such a positive influence. Is that more linked to your relationship you had with her while she was alive? Like maybe there was a troubled relationship while she was alive, or do you really feel her spirit now is coming through in a, with maybe not the most positive help?
So, when she was alive, she was a very manipulative, controlling, gaslighting. It was her way or no way at all kind of person. And I feel like she is feeding off and projecting this negativity at me. And the other day, well, actually earlier today, I finally just said, Mom, I love you, but I can't deal with your negativity. So I'm sending it back to you, and I'm sending it with peace and love. And, I can't do the negative. And it ticked her off. And, then I got a whole host of negative, to the point it sent me into an anxiety attack. And she's just, it's like, I thought death would mellow her, but clearly it has not.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear, and sorry that you felt very anxious with that. And I'm just asking because I think there's several different ways to go about it. I totally agree with what Ash already suggested. That's wonderful, very, very much on. Sometimes though, also when we have troubled relationships with people in our current life and they pass over, sometimes we still keep reliving the pattern because it might still need clearing. So that could also be that maybe you for yourself, as you're already taking ownership and you're like saying, no to the negativity, you are like really empowering yourself, even though your mother isn't here in body anymore, which I think is really wonderful, to really continue to work also on what can you clear still from your side to whatever relationship you had while she was here. And that might also then clear, help her clear while she is on the other side. Right? Because it's all connected. So you can certainly empower yourself by clearing and healing, maybe forgiving her everything she has done while she was here. I think that can always resolve a lot of things. And that's something you have power and control over. Certainly setting boundaries, even when they're on the other side, as Ash suggested, or for you, what you did, saying no and saying, I'm not going to continue this pattern with you. I've learned my lessons and I let you go. And thank you for everything you taught me. And then in addition, as Ash suggested, asking for other guides and spirits and the higher dimensions to help resolve the issue so that you can focus on this current lifetime and continue your work here. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, Christina. Next, we've got Troy and then Tiffany.
Yes, hello, Melissa. I think it was as you're coming on, but anyway, one of my friends, actually haven't seen him for a while, a benevolent reptilian, don't want to say Draco, but he's somewhat benevolent dragon energy. Anyway, his name is Aileron. He started giving me messages about your situation. And one of the first things he said is, she is not a guide to you as long as she is still wounded. And our guides definitely are not wounded, traumatized spirits anymore. He's telling me that she's stuck in how she was, or a part of her is. I'll say that we have our human ego selves, and if we really get stuck and attached to something in this world, especially at death, then we're just going to stay here until we're ready to move on. But there's always more to our soul in the heaven and spirit world that we come from. There's always a portion of it that is there in the higher density realms, because really what we are as energy, as humans, is only a little fraction of the whole soul that we are, from God or source or whatever you want to call it. And so he's saying that that's still just a part of her that's stuck and wounded here. And she's not actually going to be a guide, even though she may be an ancestor. Even I have learned that one of my grandfathers still watches over me and watches me, but he doesn't actually know how to do much as a spirit yet, apparently. I think because he's still just, I don't know, in a kind of limbo, as similar to how he was, which isn't bad, but yeah, anyway, we don't just become enlightened as we die, unless we are already enlightened as we die. Another thing he said is delineating your own life and boundaries to your guidance is important for balance and protection. And that is very important for, like, maybe you need to write it out, but delineate kind of the guides, the kinds of guides, angels, ancestors, and protectors that you allow and that you resonate with, and ask for their help in really keeping you protected. If the energy that your deceased mother is still projecting at you is something you don't want and that's not healthy for you, then you still have the power of free will to set that boundary. And yeah, just do that and set that boundary, because it's your choice how you live your life and who you resonate with and who you keep around you. She doesn't need to haunt you forever. So I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Troy. We've got Celestial, Christina, Tiffany, and then Celestial, Christina. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Okay. I want to ask you a question before I tell you everything that I have written down on this piece of paper here. Do you feel angry with her? Like, are you angry at your mother?
Not so much. I'm in recovery for addiction, and working the 12 steps has allowed me to let go of a bunch of baggage. And one of the very first things I learned to do was to forgive people that had harmed me, not necessarily because I was giving them a free pass, but for my serenity. and
Yes.
to be able to live my life and not have to try to escape from it. So I have forgiven her because I understand that perhaps she just was doing the best she could. I don't know what her deal was. I want peace and serenity in my life, and I don't want the constant hail of negativity from the other side, you know?
Okay, okay. No, that answers my question, and that was enough for me. And first, I want to commend you for being in the 12-step program. Like, that's amazing work. It's a challenge for anyone, and you're doing it. You're doing it. So you have to pat yourself on the back first and foremost for just even doing the work. What I really wanted to tell you, what came through to me almost immediately, and then I did do some pendulum channeling and asking. She wants to make peace with you is what I got. And I don't know, how that relates to what anybody else said, but very strongly, I feel that she wants to make peace. And by sending it back to her, you're not letting her have that rest. I think what she wants is to heal it with you. And by you sending her love and light and saying, because you said you forgave her, but I want to say that there are onion layers of forgiveness when you're talking about complex trauma. I am a complex trauma survivor, and every time that I thought I had fully forgiven my father or my mother even, and I love them both, but they have their strengths and their weaknesses, and that caused a lot of pain for me throughout my life. Every time I thought I was done healing it, something else came up that still needed to heal. And so that was a really strong message to me in regards to you, that there are layers upon layers of healing and so many layers of forgiveness, because what she did and what happened with her wasn't just one trauma. It wasn't just one isolated event that you can overlook. It was repeated things. And, everything you described to me sounds like narcissism. In regards to your mother, and that she was stunted emotionally, so she didn't know how to emotionally regulate, and that was oozing out all over you. Her traumas were oozing out over you, and you didn't deserve that. But in my experience, we chose our parents. I know I chose my parents. I was fulfilling things from past lives by choosing them, putting myself in a similar environment so that I could become the master alchemist. I've had 40 years of traumas, big ones that people can't imagine. Child having cancer, husband shoots somebody in the front yard, like on and on. But when you do the healing work and you go through your dark night of the soul and you're working it all out, eventually you realize everything that was done to you, it was a path to get your soul to a specific soul lesson that you agreed to before you came here. Once you figure out, that component to it, I stopped blaming my parents. Both of my parents literally had to move away. My dad's is Argentina, South America, really far away. Mom moved to Hawaii, but they had to move away so I could be who I am now. And part of that is you, without her, if you can let that go, let what she did layer upon layer, and just say, I wish you the best, go to the light, whatever, I don't feel that she's here wanting to cause harm, but it feels disturbing to you to have her here because of what she did when she was on Earth. I agree with what the other gals, somebody else was talking about forgiveness. But do it in layers and be gentle with yourself, because the things that she did to you, they're not your fault. And things were done to her too. Because people don't just become narcissists for no reason. Something stunted them in their toddler years, didn't have the support they needed. And that's what makes it a trauma, is going through something really intense that you can hardly even understand as a child, and not having someone there to hold you and tell you you're safe and that you're loved. So my final message to you is to go inside yourself, close your eyes, and pull the 5 or 6 year old version of yourself onto your lap and tell that Tell that little person what they should have heard while you were going through all of these intense things. Tell her she's safe, loved, whatever it is that you didn't get told by your parents. You can go inside yourself and reparent your inner child by talking sweetly to yourself. And the things that you should have been said this whole time, they should have been said to you, that you are safe, you are unconditionally loved. Love that's unconditional, there are no conditions, none. There's no reason why you wouldn't ever love yourself if you unconditionally love yourself. So sit with that one. Bless you.
Thanks.
Thank you
Tiffany.
so much.
And sometimes, Melissa, it helps to have a little one to use to symbolize. All right.
I have a teddy bear too.
Great. Yeah, so we've got Celestial Mystic Christina, Christina B, Ashvin, and Line.
I didn't say this in my intro, but I am a practitioner of leukemy, which is many people know as St.A.A.R.R, which is the path of Ifa. And when we're dealing with ancestors on that just passed, that are still floating around this realm because, they're still dealing with things. Their vibration was so low that literally they're trapped in between the worlds here. When we talk about 3D, 4D, 5D, people forget that there's dimensions beneath us too. And some of them that are still floating around on the quote unquote 3D realm that sometimes when people pass, they get stuck. So I don't know if you have pencil or paper or anything with you, or you just want to maybe listen to this portion of the panel later on, but I can give you some things you can do physically here to kind of help and assist her and assist you having boundaries regarding her. One thing is you need to purify your space. Either sage or Palo Santo, put salt in. Is there a particular space that she always comes to you at, or it's just, you sense things mentally and it doesn't matter where you are in your house?
It doesn't matter where I am, even not in my house, just.
Okay. All right. So well, then I'll say this, spiritual bath, which when we say spiritual bath, we're not talking about, you fill up your bathtub, you get in and you're soaked. No, a spiritual bath is basically an aura cleansing. And it's something very simple that you can do just to clear your aura from anything negative that's stuck in your aura, which when souls that are stuck here, they get attached to those negative things that are stuck in your aura. So literally something so simple as salt and water, put it in a bowl, take a shower, wash yourself up, because we're not about to clean the body. We're about cleaning your aura. And then once you're done, washing up, then you dump, the container of salt water over you. And while you're holding attention that you're clearing yourself. I would do that at least once a week, just to make sure you're just getting all that stuff out. Plus, since you're going to these meetings because of the 12-step program, most of the time there's stuff hanging out there that's getting stuck to people. So of course, when you leave that space, when you come home, you want to get all that stuff off of you. And then once again, purify your space. One thing you do that once again is sage, Palo Santo, or just put like salt, like little vials of salt in the corners of your rooms and stuff like that, because salt purifies. So anything that comes in contact with it, it's going to transmute it into something positive. Another thing that came through while you were talking is if you're into meditation or even just having a general conversation, either out loud or just, telepathically with her, just ask her what she needs. Ask her what's going on? Why are you stuck here? But what's the problem? What's the issue? You can still talk to her like she's still here. And then of course, when you get something coming through, see if that's something you can actually assist with, still being a human walking this realm. Another thing that you could do, but I recommend it to be outside of your home, because once again, you're trying to set those boundaries, is an altar. we'll just say quote unquote altar. Set up a space for her out in your yard. You can either put her picture there, you could put things that she likes to eat, a book that she likes to read, anything like that. Like if she likes cats, you could put a statue of a cat, and let that be that space that you tell her that's where she needs to hang out at. Also, when souls transfer over, we can feed them with the energy of the things that we put at their altar. So we're giving them like an extra boost of energy on the other realm so they can deal with some of the stuff that they have to deal with while they're over there. So when you're putting out that plate of food, of course, they're not going to come and physically eat it. It's not about that. It's not about the physical thing. It's about this metaphysical nature of that food being there. So they will eat the energy of that food. They will feel the energy of that cat statues or whatnot that you put there. And that's assisting her on the other side to get through whatever she has to get through on that other side. So this is just a couple of things that you can just do wakingly to kind of set up the boundaries and assist her at the same time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Celestial Mystic Christina. Next, we've got, whoops,
Is it me?
yeah, Christina B. Thank you, Christina B. Then Ashley.
Okay. Love it all that you said. And Celestial Mystic Christina, I am really loving it that you brought in the protection and the clearing. I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what's been said by several people. We actually had a panel on self-love a month or 6 weeks ago, where we also talked about narcissists. And so I'm not going to, you can watch it if you're interested, but again, it is as Tiffany said, right? We come in teams to learn with each other. So there was some kind of agreement with you and your mother to learn something through even and especially the most challenging relationships, that right, that's where we grow the most. And it feels like there might still be something playing out that's not completely healed. And we can forgive. And forgiving is almost, it's not easy, but it's almost the first step. But then as you said, there were layers. But also, have you yet been able to embrace the learning potential of that challenge? Can you say, looking back, you know what, I learned so much, and I'm as strong as I am because of that. Do you feel you can yet embrace the beauty and the gift of the challenge that your mother brought in the relationship with you?
That's a good question.
Because when you talked about it, there still was an energy of not forgiveness, but there's still some resentment. There's still a little bit left, even though you've done tremendous amount of work, and we all commend you for it. But I think there's a little bit left. And also you might want to ask yourself, what if you truly, truly healed it, forgave her to the point that she can actually move on? Would there be maybe a void? How would you feel if that connection doesn't feel as strong? Because when we have, especially when we have traumatic relationship in our physical life, there is a certain codependence. And when they leave, there is still a void that needs to be filled. And maybe she's still coming through as that narcissistic being now, so you don't feel the loss of her so much. Does that resonate on some level?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, and so I think then in the end, I think you're healing as fast as anybody could ever do. So don't rush yourself, and hold yourself certainly with compassion. And just allow the healing to happen and go through the layers. I personally still feel also you still have a little bit of that trapped in your physical body, in your liver and gallbladder, and in some layers of your aura. And that's just something, if you do energy healing, that's something that can help, but it's just overall a process. And I think you're doing great. And you being here shows how ready you are to heal and move forward, and it will happen. And so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ashwin.
All right, Melissa, I know you received a lot of information.
Okay.
Good stuff. But a little earlier, a message was coming through for you, so I do want to acknowledge that and pass that along to you. So what was coming through was really in reference to you speaking initially about your guides, or your guide, your main guide. And the message that was coming through is that your guide is available to you. And the message that was coming through is about how to connect with your guide. So the best place would be to connect with your guide during the day or the evening or the end of the day when you're in a comfortable feeling space. So this doesn't have to be sitting cross-legged in meditation. It actually has to be, could be those moments before you fall asleep where you're feeling really comfortable. But the message I was getting is, remember that your guide is somebody, you have been a guide for in other lives, and they're a guide for you in this life. So you have a long-standing and a very nurturing and supportive relationship. It's irrelevant if you know their name or not, or how they would want to identify. What's more important is that you feel their presence. And when you're in that comfortable state, just feel into your guide as the best friend that you've ever had, that sense of comfort and nurturing, that sense of having that person in your life, the best friend you've ever had, wrapped into the best, most nurturing family member you ever had. And if you never had one of those, the best nurturing family member archetype that you can imagine, the best teacher, nurturing teacher you have ever had or imagined that you ever had. This is what the guide is. The guide's on the other side. The guide knows your life plan, understands you quite well, understands your lesson, and will be there as a source of support for you. They, of course, cannot do the work for you or live your life lessons, but spending time at night as you wrap your day up, remembering that they are there for you and just being in that state of nurturing and comfort and letting that just fill your space will acquaint you with their presence and what they can bring to you every day, which will provide a great source of nurturing and comfort and support for you. It doesn't have to be like you see on television and I've got clairaudience abilities. My guide tour gave me directions, turn left here, turn right there, and you'll be at your destination. That's not how it works. You want to sit with the presence that they want to bring you, the emotional nurturing and being held feeling that your guide wants to give you. You just have to allow that, and your guide will be present for you. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Anyone have anything else they want to share with Melissa? Maybe I'll say a little bit. I didn't follow everything, so some of the things I say are probably going to be very different than what others have said, might be in contradiction and different. I know there was a question of whether you still felt angry. There's, to me, the relevant part in that is your energy still kind of attached and enmeshed in her energy? I think that actually feeling angry is a healthy part of healing. So there's a difference of like resentment or an aggressive feeling that's pushing her energy down in a way that's enmeshed. And then anger, though, can be healthy cutting of the connection. So I'm done. No more my space. This is my life. And there are ways of doing that with your body too. So for example, if you choose some spot, some direction where her energy is, like let's say it's up there. So I'm going to step at the same time. So on my foot and I'm stepping outwards. So that was your life and this is mine. So I'm reaching out and I'm stepping and back down and this is mine. And so doing that in a simple way and breathing after you do it and feeling what happens, the energy is separating. I believe the neurons are also separating. So it's using the two sides of your body and splitting the connection in your brain on this plane. So all kinds of things like that can be done. So it's allowing the separation to happen. So that's a place where I feel like anger is your friend and anger is helpful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, I completely agree about the pattern. Totally felt like narcissism to me too. So it's the journey of you learning healthy boundaries, probably with lots of people, not just with her. Yeah. All right. Anything else, Melissa, just that you wanted to share with us as part of finishing up?
No, I just really appreciate all the input. Thank you so, so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Melissa. All right, great. So I know JD, you had wanted to ask a question. I sent you some messages in the chat and I don't know if you had a chance to see them. So I don't know if you still are wanting to ask a question or not. Maybe if you could take a quick look at those. And then anyone that wants to ask a question, we would love to answer your question. We do ask that you pay before you get on stage for us to answer. It's sliding scale. It's 20 to 28 or $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. You can pay via PayPal or Venmo, or I can go into a breakout room and do a card. So there's all kinds of ways that you can pay. I'm not aware of anyone else being in line at the moment. If someone's already paid and you want to ask a question, please let me know. Okay, great. Yeah. And let's see. So I'm getting some chat messages. If you could clarify that part. We had someone recently join the panel and they're asking some questions as they consider asking a question tonight. Yeah, it can be a question on anything. It can be directly related to the theme, which is galactic guidance. It could simply be that we have galactic guidance coming in. Oh, yes. Okay. So the panel is recorded and it does go up on YouTube. If you want to ask anonymously, you can do that. For example, you can type me up your question and I will read it and we won't say your name online. You can change your name on Zoom. You don't have to come up on the stage. There are all kinds of options for how you can ask questions. If you want, you can share your voice, but not come up on stage. It's all an option. Yeah, so just let me know what works for you and we can do that. Oh, okay. Okay, sure. Okay, well, let's have JD. Yeah, so go ahead. What is it that you wanted to share with us? Request. Not a question. You're muted, so we can't hear you. Yeah.
My stepmother is dying. Her lungs are full of fluid. I would just like to ask for everybody to pray for her quick passing, so she's no longer in pain. And that's not just the panel, but everybody that's listening as well.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Peaceful transition to her. Peaceful and speedy. All right. Yeah. And there is and I guess if anyone has any general guidance about anything that JD can do in terms of his energy and the connection with her in terms of facilitating that transition, if anyone has anything brief they want to share, go ahead and mention that. Go ahead, Ashvin.
The message coming through is JD, self-care first. You put this request out there and there'll be plenty of beings on the other side doing what they can to keep her comfortable and to help her with the transition if she chooses to do so. But for you, self-care.
I also want to say that I'm feeling intuitively that a lot of energy, positive energy for her smooth passing has already been sent from us and others who you've asked, and that timeline has shifted so that she has a peaceful passing. That's what I'm sensing.
Yeah, I am too. I've been praying a lot about it, and just it's difficult. We're humans and we want to be sad when a loved one passes. but we shouldn't, because they're moving on to something better. We should celebrate them. So I'm more sad for my stepfather because he's losing his mother, and that's always hard, and I with what was just, kind of went over with Melissa, it is, it can be very difficult. So, but thank you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for jumping in initially, and then for jumping back in and asking. Man, people are sharing in chat. All right. Let's see. I think we've got someone else ready to ask a question, but I don't know exactly how it's happening yet. I think it's happening by voice.
Yes. Hi, Laureli.
Okay, great. And I wasn't sure, how do you want us to refer to you as you ask?
Todd is fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I was trying to think of what I want to ask. And what came to mind was something I asked in a previous spiritual session. Well, actually, I think I'll go somewhere else with this. I'm neurodivergent, and I experience kind of like an energy in the fabric of reality, I guess you can say. And it's kind of like represents itself as different things at different times. It's rotating or cycling or phasing through different kind of statements of who it is or what it is. But it always does have an alien kind of flavor to it. And almost not evil, because I don't believe in evil. There's no such thing as evil for me. I believe in harm. I don't believe in evil. Evil is a judgment call. But the entity is not evil, but very so powerful that it almost seems not malevolent, but so powerful that I have fear, and working through that. And then as the neurodivergent process goes on, say if someone was having a break or something, I'd like to integrate this experience so I can remain at peace, and integrate this experience so it's makes more sense, or has a utility rather than a problematic nature. So I guess that's where I'm going with that. My thoughts are a little loose on this, so it's kind of like the nature of the experience as well. Although I have formed some formations around it that allow me to conceptual structures that allow me to kind of communicate with that and other things going on. So what is anyone that feels called to answer this question? What am I experiencing, and what meaning does it have for my life, I guess? All right. Thank you.
Great. I'm going to just ask a clarifying question a little bit. At first, it sounds like you were talking about the feeling of being neurodivergent, and then it sounded like maybe you're being visited. And do you?
Yeah, but it always happens around those time periods that I would have a neurodivergent experience. So,
okay. Okay, great.
But also outside that time too. But it's like in that time, it's even more palpable. But like I said, it's not. I've moved past the fear. I can sit with the fear now. I can give space to the fear. But it's still, there's fear around it. It's almost as if I'm. It's like talking. It's like when I was younger and I talked to my inner self, and you think you're talking to God or your conscience or whatever. It's like the same experience, except it's so much more vivid and real, So.
Great. Yeah, and I'll say just a little bit. I believe I'm neurodivergent myself, and the feeling that you describe and the palpability of it it feels similar to me to what I experience when I'm particularly aware of my neurodivergence, how I don't get something or I have made something messy that I don't understand and don't quite know how to be with or fix. So it's there's something that's almost more tactile about the energy. Like I sense something else outside of just the me space. So I wonder if it's related to what you're talking about. All right, Christina B has something for you.
Hi, Todd. So thanks for asking the question. And thanks, Laureli, for clarifying. There might be different answers to your question. But the first thing that came up for me when you said you were scared, I wanted to remind you that it's one of the really basic universal laws, the law of non-interference, meaning you have the right to reject any entity or anything coming in that you're not comfortable with. And I want you to trust. This is the first step to starting to trust yourself. If you're feeling scared or something is off, certainly to maybe first even call in your guides and say, I'm not what's going on here. Please, for now, just protect me. And if you're curious, you can maybe then feel into it or ask your guides, is what's coming in for my highest benefit? Or is that somebody who's just a bit naughty? Right? So you can have that conversation because, as we probably talked about today at the panel, some of the beings out there, our galactic family, might have an energy that is really unfamiliar to us. They might have a look that is very unpleasant. So sometimes we could be getting guidance, and because we're not used to it, we might be scared at first. But when we open up to it, it might actually be a beautiful guidance and amazing beings coming in. But I want you to first also have that empowerment to say, I can choose what comes in, what not. I'm asking my guides for some clarity and protection. You can always, if that resonates with you, call it on Archangel Michael. Many people call on him for protection and to clear the space. And then, of course, there's many, many different ways to also do psychic protection. If you really feel after diving into that, there's something going on that you don't want to be connected with. And I'm sure the panel will have a lot of recommendations, whether it is using symbols, using crystals, using saging. I know Christina talked about salt. So there's a lot of different techniques, but we don't want to first immediately say it is something bad, but we want to say, okay, I'm not opening the door. I first kind of want to look through the little thing and see if who you are is what I want to welcome in. And that is a basic universal law for you to do. So I'm just going to start that off with this. Todd, did that help at all? And then I pass it on to my wonderful co-panelists.
Yes, it did. And to give you context on based on what you said, what's coming to me is there's also either the same spirit or the same entity that is, or a different entity. I can't figure out what's what in my head, but I get a lot of downloads of stuff I could never know myself. You know, like wildly too mature for my own self sometimes, and mature knowledge. So I don't know if that's coming from that or not. And yes, I would say the physical form of it is the most scary because it's emanating out of the fabric of reality. And like if I look in the corner, if I saw the shadows just right, I would see its shape. And I would say that the fact that it's happening is the fearful part, not the thing itself. If I were to zone in on that and try to focus on that. And now I'm getting like that where you said dive into it a little bit, maybe if you feel comfortable. But I have moved away from the fear-based reality that I was in before that caused more fear for that situation. So that's good. And yeah, so that's what I get from where I'm coming from on that. So
that's good. And this is maybe stupid advice, but I also recommend, because there's so many things on Netflix, etc. right now about aliens and stuff, and they often have that, you know, slaughtering mentality. I would probably start not watching too much of that because it often paints a picture of galactic beings that has to do with war and intrigues and conspiracy. So I personally love to see these images, but the agenda is usually very negative. So I personally don't watch it anymore. It's just in case you like to watch these things. That's just
yeah. I studied informally. I studied alien theology in the 2000 area, in the year 2000, and you had Zeta Talk, and which is still up. I can't believe it, but service to self, service to other thing going on, and all these different kind of theologies out there, the grays, the this, the that, and a lot of scary stuff, the fear-based reality side, and then there was the light side, and everything in between. So I know all about that mythology, and I'm always, with all this stuff I hear online, I'm always in a state of I don't know. It's not in my reality, so I could just be in a state of I don't know. But yes, I do. I'm okay with absorbing that information and not reacting to it. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina B. Celestial Mystic Christina's next.
My main thing, I just wanted to ask a question just to clarify something for myself real quick. Do you do any magic work?
I don't know. I play with energy a little bit, but like I'm just coming to know that now. I can sometimes be a good communicator, and sometimes I can be an awful communicator. And I think communication, in a way, is a little bit of magic there. Magic, though, not formally. I haven't studied any magic, no. So.
Okay. You said you play with energy. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, when movies come out where they've got like energy balls and stuff like that, I would like pretend to have energy balls and like play with it and stuff like that. So I just did I did a session the other night. I did a session the other night on another thing on Meetup, and it was all about throwing the ball back and forth, which was like even harder, but I had never done that before. So but that's something I would play with, like qigong, is it called? Like kind of like that stuff.
Yeah. So you answered what I was thinking. You're playing with energy. That's magic. That's a simple way to put it. You're playing with energies, and you have some skill sets to you that you're not aware that you have this skill set, but you playing with energy and making energy balls, you're ripping into time and space with these things, and something has come through. That's what's occurring with you right now. So I would definitely look more into learning about magic and energy and the type of basically magic that you're doing right now. Because even though you don't see it as that, that's what you're doing. You're playing with energies, and because of your skill set, you have ripped into a time space fabric, and something has come through.
If a baby picks up a gun, it's still a gun.
All right. Okay, let's see. It looks like Troy's got some answers, and then Ashvin.
Hello, Todd. What it feels to me is that you are a type of medium, maybe with some clairvoyance, but mostly intuitive medium, and your mind is very much a medium to the spirit world. And there are multiple kinds of beings that communicate with you. Some seem like the same, some just others come through. But because of your unique kind of receptive, intuitive mind, they find you, and you have that signal that you're kind of sending out subconsciously. That's just a part of you. But I do have to say that the description that you said of like seeing, I don't know, beings or things like in the corner or around you, that sounds to me very consistent with my understanding and what other people have described as seeing past the veil of reality and just basically the spirit and energy world beyond that. And so it sounds like you have these moments when you can see that, or when also things just come through anyway and become more visible to you. And that's what I'm feeling, is that's what's happening. You have this quality of seeing beyond the corporeal realm that we live in. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I definitely align with that. I mean, in my own mind, I can actually understand how that space that is beyond physical realm doesn't have time or anything. So actually, if I energetically talk to my past self, I'm actually in the present talking to my past self. And if I talk to my future self, I can get guidance and so forth. It's not that odd. It's more like it's just like in that space there is no time. You know, it's all one happenstance. So I understand the world, the universe. I'm very into the multi-worlds theory in science, and that consciousness has to witness something for it to exist, you know. So I understand that, and I can say yes, that all resonates with me, and especially the fabric of space and time kind of thing, but not in like a weird way, but no, like it's just like visualization way, that if you believe it, if you understand it more, it becomes more usable, utilitarian. So
Yeah. I also want to ask, do you feel that the Qigong energy balls you play with and such are more in the bio energy spectrum, or some of it's also in like the higher frequency spirit world energy spectrum?
yeah, if I were to align it to a place, it would be in that place where nothing exists except potential, potential to exist. And from that, like in my mind, like in a chakra-like system, you have the ultimate potential where nothing is happening. It's just silence, and you disappear. And then you come into the soul, and then you express from there into the mental and emotional and physical bodies. And it's kind of like an emanation from that space. So I don't know if that answers the question, but
Yeah, so to me it feels like the energy balls you play with are sometimes more in the kind of physical bioenergy spectrum. I've done really my walkout did Qigong for years, and so I have familiarity with that and that energy. But then there's also everything really is on the rainbow light spectrum. And so then there are just other energies that I think more advanced psychics are able to play with and tap into on like the green, blue, and violet and beyond light spectrum. And so I'm just trying to get a sense of how much the energy balls you're playing with might actually be magic.
they're white. Yeah, they're white, if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, to me that feels more like it is interacting with other layers and dimensions of reality. So perhaps to me it feels like it would help if you develop a practice of asking for clarity, or even asking for permission for certain kinds of energy or the energy that you're accessing, so that you can more clearly access the realms that are interacting with you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. In this world, you don't access this information unless you get into these pools of water, and it's very limited in normative society to access a lot of this information. So it's kind of like you have empaths growing up in muddy waters and being outputs of those situations and not reaching their potential because they have no guidance. And this educational possibility is not in the normative world, which is a shame. So
Yeah, I have to say I appreciate you describing it as pools of water. As a Scorpio, and from my experience, I experience worlds that are a bit more watery. Even my Reiki, I basically cast bubbles of watery energy in which I charge with my Reikis, and so that's powerful. But yeah, water energy is interesting to work with.
All right, great. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Troy.
Ashvin's got some more.
Todd, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Ashvin?
I'm good. So when you initially started speaking, some information started to come through. What has come through as this is more to do with your expanding awareness. And the tools well suited at this time to play with are really meditation. There are different types of meditations you can learn out there. There'll be ones that'll be specifically really helpful for you, which will help you put you in a place where you can be a better observer and gain a better understanding of what's going on as your awareness expands. And from there, you can then choose to engage in other things and how to engage your own expanding awareness. So I'm not sure if that's making sense, but the thing coming through is the tools to work with. First, you may want to consider studying, if you will, the different types of meditations and seeing which ones really resonate with you, that puts you in a place where you can really start to work with your expanding awareness. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashman. Yeah, to feedback on that, definitely I see mental constructs and as ways of getting closer to the divine, whether that mental construct be Ashvin's way of thinking or Christina's way of thinking or Troy's or Tiffany's or whatever. They're all constructs to help us go to the next step or to understand more. And I think oh, the scroll came in. I lost that one. But yes, thank you very much. And I definitely have to learn more concepts and more meditational concepts, the box breathing and all that other stuff. And I'd like to do that. I have a little aversion to meditation. I don't know why, but I do like guided meditations. So,
and I want to encourage you too, like because I know you a little bit. There are totally other ways you can do meditations. You can do moving meditations. There are ways that you could do like dancing, twirling meditations. Like there's just so many things that you could do. It doesn't have to be that you're sitting still and emptying things. It can be a single point of focus.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
gotcha.
You've got to
I do that a lot with contemplation too. So just like I contemplate something for a while. So, or Ashvin, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, piggybacking on what Laureli was saying, if you have heard of the Sufis, for example, or ecstatic dance, that's one way, for example, of experiencing energy. It's a unique way of doing so. And just being fully immersed into it, will take time and practice. But to your point, all perspectives are valid, including the squirrel that ran into your room has a perspective on creation and its life and what the world is for and what it means. So yes, all of this is, and so is yours. It's very, very relevant and tied to source experiencing itself. But yeah, if you feel like it, some other forms that may not be so mentally engaging and could be engaging in other ways, like Laureli mentioned, moving meditations, ecstatic dance could be another. Just experimenting with other things and seeing if you can gain value from them, because it's all going to help you expand your awareness in a different way.
Yeah. Throwing pottery on the wheel, it's been a meditation. There's just so many things that can be a meditation. Yeah. Right. Watching the waves over and over and over and over and getting to the rhythm of the waves. There's just so much. All right. All right, we have another person up to ask a question. Yeah, thank you so much, Todd. Does anyone have anything else left with Todd? It seems like we're finishing. Just checking. So the next person coming up, I wasn't clear if you're wanting to be anonymous or not. I'm hoping that you don't, but I want to honor whatever it is. Most importantly, I want to honor whatever it is you want. Could you have the word anonymous in one of your messages? Are you still here? I'm going to message you in chat to see if we, okay,
I'm
great.
here.
Are you okay with being on screen or?
Okay,
Are you sure? Are you sure? It's like,
I'm sure.
I think it'll be great. All right, cool. Here we go. All right, everyone, we're going to have so much fun. All right, we have Crystal with us.
Yes. Okay, let me ask my question. Hi, everyone. Tiffany, you have to
We'll help you
last.
get to like an even greater, better question too, even if there's more that you could ask. Go ahead.
Okay. What is the significance of connecting with our galactic roots? And are we all star seeds?
And can you say a little bit about why is this particularly relevant for you? And can we say things that are particularly relevant for you in the answers?
So yes, you can say things that are relevant to me. And Tiffany is the one that started this rabbit hole. So
Right, I want to say, so Crystal, so for those of you that don't know, like so many people that might watch this don't know, Crystal is involved in helping run the MeWe fairs. She does them in person. She's done stuff behind the scene. She helps run so much at BEPC. She's such an important part of the community and lifts up so many people in the community. And she's been opening to her own gifts during this time. And I'm so thrilled that you're here asking a question today.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
I don't want to be embarrassed.
Who wants to jump in? Tiffany maybe has have her
I
different.
really want to. I just can't find the stupid.
Go ahead.
hand.
It's up. It's up. We got it.
Okay. So wait, it was the significance of galactic roots and are we all star seeds?
And anything else you want to share with her about her? Go ahead. Go for it.
You got it. You
But
got
she
it.
says no.
Well, now I wish I had your chart sitting in front of me because it's probably sitting right down here. But I would say that we are not all star seeds, although I mean, there's always that possibility, and I can't say that I know one way or the other for sure. But in my studies in galactic astrology, I have heard about Earthlings. They don't usually come to me, so I don't usually get people like that. But there are some people that didn't just choose to come down here right now when we did. We chose to come down because we wanted to help because of what Christina B was talking about with the free will and the law of one and all of that. We couldn't make the difference that we wanted to make while still up there. We had to come down and incarnate to be able to influence. And just by radiating our frequencies and our who we are, people are getting that transmission just by hanging out with us and being around us. But I wouldn't say that everybody's a starseed. There definitely are some Earthlings, and there are definitely some other kinds of beings hanging out on the earth that I wouldn't classify as a starseed. As far as the significance of galactic roots, one of the things that I found really significant for myself was just seeing all the placements in my chart and where trauma's coming in and where that's going to affect me in this life. You know, whether it's going to be hitting my personality or my shadow self, or it's something that I just am energetically attracting. So once I can see the different placements in my chart and see, you know, maybe I was involved in the Lyran Wars or the Orion Wars or the Procyon Wars. There were a lot of different galactic wars, but when you can identify that on the chart and then go into those soul records and see what was going on, then you can really find out, was it because I was service to self and maybe misaligned? Or was it because I was service to others and I witnessed a trauma? Like having seen the Lyran planets be blown up or being there during that happening. We carry that imprint with us. A lot of us are homesick because of it, because we can't go home. Our planet's not there anymore. So being able to identify which galactic groups you're really strongly tied with will also give some information about your galactic history, maybe the experiences you've had off world, what kind of work you were doing, you know, and then what your soul mission is now. Like, what did you come in here right now to learn? That's really what I channel is just the highest good, whatever your soul needs to know. So even when I'm looking at a chart, there's so much in there. One, to tell people what their gifts are, you know, because a lot of us discount what our gifts are. I did. I didn't think I had all these gifts. And it wasn't until I opened up my consciousness and started doing the shadow work that all these extra gifts started to come out. And I was like, huh, that's been happening this whole time. And I just wasn't attributing it to spirit. I just, wasn't thinking, like even miracles, for example, a lot of us are trained to believe they're not happening. They're only happening in the biblical texts, but I see miracles happening all around me every day. So getting into your galactic roots will give you some history and kind of what you've been doing off world to lend itself to maybe why you came down here now, which groups are directly supporting you, which groups, there's certain groups that have, like the Palladians, for example, they had toxic positivity for a while and it was making them sick. They denied the darker parts of themselves, the polarities. They only wanted to see the good. But then those darker emotions were manifesting as illness in their bodies. So knowing which type of galactic groups and what maybe that galactic group struggled with collectively, that can also give you information, into right now. So I'm going to stop there and let somebody else talk, but let me know if you have more questions directed at me.
I can jump in and just one quick thing too, and I'll say it generally. You know how you are so different than the main person that raised you?
Yes.
Knowing these things is an explanation of why that is.
That makes sense.
Okay, great. So Troy and then Christina B and then Celestial Mystic Christina.
Hello again, Crystal.
Hi.
So first I want to say that I'm sensing that you have feline energy, and I got that that's from Lyra, playful feline energy. I just sense playful feline from you right now. You're one of two felines that I've met in this world who are just here to play and have fun and learn some, but especially just enjoy playing as you are. I do want to say that yes, there is a difference between starseeds and just Earth souls, and I do remember that when my walkout was getting started with learning about past lives and reincarnation, he went to a group past life regression. I'm probably going to do a group past life regression soon too, but lead it by myself. Anyway, it was with Linda Bachman, and she has found in her work that there's interplanetary souls and Earth souls. And yeah, there is this distinction between those of us who've come from other stars and those of us who haven't really come from other star systems, but just are here on Earth and have reincarnated probably a bunch of times, sometimes even hundreds or thousands of times, but they're just an Earth soul and haven't had that interplanetary experience. And that's my experience too. A lot of Earthlings just are pure Earthlings.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't want that to sound like we're more special or more valuable than Earthlings. Earth is going through its own awakening process like all the other planets did. But yeah, starseeds are usually here to play a role in the healing and spiritual awakening of others. And yeah, so that's something about starseeds. Some Earthlings are too. Many Earthlings are also healers, I have to say, or various other, even artists are awakeners and healers. And yeah, even people who've had many past lives are very special, I've seen. But yeah, I will say there's a distinction though between starseeds and Earth humans.
Thanks, Troy. We've got Christina B and then Celestial Mystic Christina.
I'm next. Did I hear that right? Okay.
You got it right.
Oh, hi, Crystal. So nice to meet you. And I love your question because I love all things starseeds anyway. So I'm also going to answer the questions just as you would. The first one, are we all starseeds? And I wanted to just cover briefly a little bit of the history of starseeds. Means, you know, ancients, and what is a starseed, right? Starseed is an ancient soul that has had many lifetimes or has other lifetimes in other different dimensions and on other planets. And because of that vast experience, they have a lot of wisdom. And since we're now in that process of ascension, a few decades back, you know, there was that call sent out, and Dolores Cannon talks about that, looking for volunteer souls to come down on Earth to help with the ascension process. And so we needed all our best, we needed a lot of force, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge from these other dimensions to come down here during this time. And the process started around the 60s and 70s when the first wave of starseeds came in incarnating in that generation of people born in 60s and mainly 70s. And then or 70s and 70s and 80s, and then 90s, and then the third wave was more in the 2000s. And I don't know if other panelists see it too. I can definitely see it when I see the younger generations. They're coming in with a very different frequency, with very different already with their consciousness wide open, very much in tune with their gifts. We like to say, oh, people have ADHD and all of these things. Many of these things are actually starseed traits. So I'm not going to talk more about it, but there's a whole lot more to it. But basically, the younger you are, the more starseeds are in your generation. I would say that. And I think the ones coming in now are almost all starseeds. However, the earth souls are really important, right? Because we also need the earth workers, and they're just as important. And so we have the starseeds incarnating, we have the earth souls incarnating, but we also have real, what we might call real ETs or higher dimensional beings that are residing on or in Earth, inner Earth. So that are not really human or earth souls, they are a whole different thing. And we have extraterrestrials visiting, depending on what dimension they're coming from. So we have a big party down here. So that is just to answer a little bit, are we all starseeds? Any questions on that piece before I move on to the galactic question? Okay, and so then what is the significance? I think Tiffany already covered it. I talk about it a lot when I talk about my awakening, that I believe one of the significant pieces of connecting to the galactic roots is healing, activating of gifts and knowledge and wisdom, which then helps us really connect to our mission now during the ascension process. I think there needs to be the awakening, the healing, clearing, and then activating of the gifts so we can really come out and do what we're meant to do here, what we chose to do here, what we came here for. I also believe that eventually there will be a reunion where there will be real contact with our galactic family. I'm not saying when that is, everybody has different opinions, doesn't matter. However, I feel very much, that's why I want people to connect with the galactic roots. So we are preparing, whether it is in our lifetime or future generations, so that eventually it's like, oh, some spaceship comes, they're blue. Oh, okay, that's a series, right? So it doesn't become such a scary thing in the future. And I'm sorry, I'm just really making it really simple, but and then in my personal experience working either with healing or the Akashic records, when I work with clients and I either tell them what I see, like maybe like a piece, like a little piece of the movie of their life on a different planet, or I give them a message about that lifetime, I can see the shift in them. They activate something in their entire energy field shifts, because it's almost like boom, 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 like all these light codes get activated. And I would say it really can transform your life. So that's why I think it is such a beautiful opportunity to connect with your galactic roots. Any questions?
I want that. So thank you.
You want the what?
I want that. I want that connection. So thank
All right. Okay. Well, you're going to get it.
Great. We've got Celestial Mystic Christina next.
All right, sorry about that. I just had a baby. So my husband's dealing with the baby. So your question was two parts. So first part, I'll just kind of talk about the earth seeds, star seeds, because there is, you can say that those are the two kind of sets that you have working on earth right now. And the main thing, and I hate to ruffle feathers, but I have to speak truth. Not all earth seeds and not all star seeds are here to heal. We do live in a space of duality. So we do have people that operate on that spectrum of positivity. And they also have the ones that operate on the spectrum of negativity. So not all star seeds are coming down here because they want to quote unquote heal. Just like we have an influx of ones coming down that want to assist, their galactic roots and their parties that are down here. We also have the star seeds coming down that want to assist their spectrum of beings and whatnot that are part of their roots and their family. So I have to say that part because once again, we do live in duality. We do have some positive things going on and we do have some negative things going on. Now, the significance of connecting to your galactic roots, the easiest kind of way I can kind of explain that is when you think of like your family tree. Your family tree does not just exist in the 3D. You can kind of think of it as, say, a huge oak tree and the branches and the leaves go into the higher realms, and just say the roots go down into 4D, 3D, whatever, forward down. That whole tree is you. So knowing what you're connected to above you and quote unquote what's connected below you is technically your whole soul story. So that's really the purpose of understanding where you come from up here and down here, because genetics isn't just a 3D thing. Genetics is throughout all the realms. It starts in the antiparticle and comes down and becomes those different 2-strand, 3-strand spirals that we all know about. Some people have 3, some people have 4, some people have 2, some people have 1. But regardless, the genetics is tied to the higher realms, to your galactic family, and then it trickles down into the 3D. So learning those roots basically is your whole soul story. And you can think of it as like your family tree, but it expands higher up in the realms, down through your body, down into the bottom realms also.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. All right, Ashvin's got something to share.
I would love to add some to this if you're okay, Crystal.
Of course.
So yeah, I guess to me, the question is, how do we define starseeds? So most souls on this planet have lived on other planets before, because the Earth lessons are tougher, and it's nice to have an initiation on just being present on the physical plane, but maybe places where the lessons might be a little bit easier, but not all of them. So in terms of, the people on Earth, have they lived elsewhere? Have they been other species? Most have. But so from that sense, almost everybody's a starseed. But I think for this conversation, the real question is more along the lines of light workers, of having a special mission, possibly just like Dolores Cannon talks about. And that's more for a limited number. The thing about being present on Earth is it offers such a variety of lessons and opportunities to learn things. And even the light worker that's purely pulled into their work is still going to have to live a human life and do human things and deal with some level of duality. But the light worker starseeds, if you will, we come with a different mission. And we go through the process of being birthed in amnesia, just like everybody else on this planet, and then eventually find our way and find, our tribes. But we do have a different mission. There might be souls who come down here who are fully want to be engaged in more earthly experiences. What does it feel like to be born into a family? What about a family of 10 with that dynamics? What does it feel like to have food scarcity or attention scarcity? What does it feel like then to break out of that and go get a job and get an education and feel so fulfilled? Because there are plenty of people out there who feel fulfilled every day, and all of these roles are relevant. When I'm hungry, I don't need a chandler. I need the grocery store clerk, the driver who drove the groceries there. I need somebody who is tended to the farm. I need a farmer. I need, I need all those things. If my toilet gets clogged, I'm not calling a psychic. I need the plumber. All of these roles are absolutely important, and the souls choosing to be born into them, are looking for those experiences too. And we all may have some overlap, but then there's a set of us, I think, who lean more towards, yeah, we'll do these things because that's how it works here on this planet. But we have come with it for a different purpose, and that's kind of like your purpose, which is, as a light worker, at the end of the day, you don't have to do anything except to make sure that your energy is clean, which is you have clean emotions, clear thoughts. If you have, you'll go through your earthly challenges, but if you have resentments, anger, you work through them so your energies are clear. Beyond that, you are already a light worker starseed, and it'll do its thing. In your case, prime example, you have lived on so many other planets that you have such a big database that you can come to Earth and be like, I don't need to be engaged in all of these things that exist here. There is a different way to live and do things. And a lot of starseeds feel that way when they come down and they're like, oh, what is this shit? we can do a better job. What's happening here? But not everybody has that database. They don't have that experience in the past, and nor do they have the inclination, because they need the systems to have and the structures to have their experiences. So lightworker starseeds do come with a different purpose, and that is, in the most general term, is to bring in some good, clean energy and to help with this energetic shift that's taking place on the planet right now.
Thank you.
Great. Anyone? Okay, great. Christina B's got a little bit more. Go ahead.
I just want to briefly piggyback on Ashwin. I totally agree with what you said. And this is why we do need the duality, right? If we all came here and this would be a paradise planet and nothing to do, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So duality is part of the matrix of the universe. It's there for a reason, but we want to approach it from a certain perspective. And of course, that is free will. People do it the way they choose to. But yes, we're here to do some work, and we need people. We need the narcissists. We need the, people that, pollute the earth, so we can say, no, we shouldn't pollute the earth in a very simplified way. So I agree with that. Thank you.
Thanks, Christina B. Troy's got something to share.
Yeah, I want to also say something about many starseeds, especially lightworker starseeds, is very early on, after I learned I was a walk-in and I knew that I was different than I was before, I asked in the pre-dream state, not just to one guide, but just asking whatever spirits could give me clarity, asking who I am, what I am, and where I come from as a walk-in, if that's what I am. And what I saw is it looked kind of like a stick figure with pointy arms and legs. I think it started as red, but then all the other colors of the rainbow folding out from it like a chain of paper dolls. I'd never seen that before, but it didn't say anything, but the message seemed to be just I'm a rainbow being of light. And I have learned more since that I'm a cosmic being of light. And one of the things about us lightworker starseeds, one of my walkouts friends I'm still friends with, and she's in our soul family. I'm getting a call. We both have done a similar type of mission that I think is very common for starseed light workers and even light beings in general, is taking on a big chunk of darkness, and a lot of it's very traumatic. And I've had to learn to heal that more than I expected as a walk-in. And that is kind of a signature too of many light beings, at least at some point in their journey, is having to learn to deal with immense dark trauma. But because they're such light beings of great healing power, they do eventually get through that, and we do. And that's the gift, is so that we can give that to other people. We can help other people who've gone through and taken on so much darkness. And I heard a quote recently too that's related, is that your greatest superpower is hidden by your most difficult and painful wounds. And I think that's very true. The unique wounds and trauma and karma that each of us carry and take on is directly related to our soul's unique superpowers or abilities too, that then we learn to awaken from that. And so I think that's one of the differences too, from ancient, or what seem to be very ancient starseed souls, who've been through wars, who've been through some of the worst stuff in the universe. We come to Earth too to take on some of the worst stuff from this planet, and even carry on some of the bad stuff from other planets, and learn to alchemize that and grow from that energy. But yeah, we go through some of the worst so that then we can brighten up again and bring that light that we have the potential of to Earth, even more than some of the even very ancient Earth reincarnation souls. And so I think that's one of the traits of many star seeds, and also just light beings in general.
Okay, thank you.
Great. And Celestial Mystic Christina has a bit more to share. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you a visual of what I was talking about when I talk about like your whole soul story in your family tree, because I did do like a little class for one of the MeWe fairs a few months ago, and I have the picture here that I could show you. Let me put this out the way so I can see. So this is what I'm talking about when I say like your whole soul story, your quote unquote family tree of tying you into your galactic family, into your ancestors. So this is just a little snippet of some of the higher realm selves that I know, tied through me.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Frozen.
Oh, she froze. Okay, phooey. Let's see if I can call her, or she'll pop right back in. I want to hear the rest of that. Let's see, I'm getting her phone number. Whoops. Yep, she popped out. All right, let's get her back in. For some reason, I'm having trouble seeing. Okay, thanks for your patience, everyone. Sorry, it went to voicemail. Trying to see if a text will get through. Yeah, that was beautiful. I'm guessing that her device ran out of juice, but hopeful that she'll get to her phone and we can finish up. All right, you are back on. Okay. We can't see it anymore, but you can keep telling us.
Okay, so what I was trying to explain is like I had an ancestor come through, a Zulu medicine man that came through. And you can, do a Google and see that the Zulu tribe is tied into Sirius. So of course, as I showed earlier, that one of my selves is a nine-dimensional reptilian avian priestess. And then to find out that I actually have a Zulu ancestor that is basically a priest. A medicine man is basically a priest, a shaman and whatnot. So that's kind of like the whole soul story of how my genetic ties with my ancestors up into the higher realms with the Syrian priesthood and things like that. I have Wi-Fi on my phone, but it's saying I don't have it on my computer. So that's basically what I was just trying to explain with the picture.
It's great. It was beautiful. A bunch of us were sharing too how beautiful that is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna finish working with this to try to get back in, okay?
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Anyone have anything else left for Crystal? And Crystal, anything else you want to share just in finishing up?
No, I appreciate all the answers and feedback, and I guess I better start asking questions about my ancestors. I think that's probably the only question I have yet to ask myself.
It's great. It's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we are at the end of the panel, so hopefully we will have Christina be able to come back in and do her outro. So thank you everyone so much for being here today. I'm going to put everyone's information. Oh, here she comes. I'm going to put everyone's information in the chat again too. And if you would be willing to share some feedback with us about today's event, we will put you in a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. Putting that info in the chat. We hope that we've been able to contribute to you being here listening to our panel today. All right, great. You have made it back in time. And so we're doing our outros. So let's see. So go ahead and share again, everyone, about who you are, what you do, and how people can reach you. You feel free to share about your specials if you want. I'm going to be putting everything in the chat, including your codes. So if you want, they're only available to the people that were in the room today. Let's maybe go ahead and we'll just go do reverse order today. So on the way out now. So we'll have Troy, Ashvin, Tiffany, Christina, B, and then Celestial Mystic Christina. Go ahead, Troy.
Yes. So again, my name is Troy J. Bacon, and I'm a walk-in and healer. And sometimes it is hard to really describe what I do, but it is very quantum, working with the mind, body, spirit, energy body, spirits and animal spirits, ancestors, all kinds of guides and angels. And yeah, so I also offer what is a version of Reiki in this lifetime. I was trained in Makeo Usui Reiki. But it is just the energy healing that I do, usually working with different rainbow frequency colors and on that spectrum, and even the pastel rainbow color spectrum at times, and bringing through also the the cosmic energies, especially for star seeds, but also just for awakening and healing. I feel very connected to the universe too when I do that type of work. And yeah, so I love to help awaken star seeds and anyone who works with me who wants to really go deeper with their healing and transformation and alchemizing and awakening. My business is New Being Hypnosis, and my code is in the chat. I also offer by donation discovery sessions if anyone wants to work with me, just to have kind of a taste of what I do. The donation could be as little as $1 or anything higher that you feel called to. My normal rates for a full session are $160. I'll be offering some specials with that soon. But yeah, my name is Troy J. Bacon, and my business is New Being Hypnosis, and I'm a Starseed alchemist energy healer.
Thanks so much, Troy. Ashwin.
Thank you, Troy. That was awesome. I want to thank everybody who showed up to ask questions and to listen in today. This is what it takes to facilitate learning, asking, answering, sharing. So you play a big part in the expansion of consciousness. And anybody else who will be watching this in the future, I thank you too for participating in this. And I want to thank all the panelists. You have been absolutely amazing, actually. This was a great panel. So thank you for letting me participate and to share with you in all we've done today. And Laureli, thank you too for putting this together. I can be found online at cupoflight.xyz, not .com, .xyz. I do have a special for the people who have attended today. It's 50% off my smaller reading, so you can have a chance to have a sampler of what I do and then make a decision if you'd like to book a longer reading. And yeah, thank you, everybody.
That's great. And you're also at cupoflightxyz@gmail.com. And if people are interested in your art, they need to connect with you and Tiffany and have that manifest for themselves.
Especially Tiffany. She's got a whole package deal with the art. Yeah.
Great. Tiffany.
Thank you.
Oh, what an introduction. Thank you. Tiffany Rose, intuitive coach. I work with star seeds. I also work with spiritual businesses. I have Galactic Reiki listed on my website. So there's Andromedan, Orion, Pleiadian, Perseus, and Arcturian. So 70D Arcturian Reiki. And that session includes removing the fear implantation etherically from your body, which was really one of the things that I did that right after that was when I started physically seeing the etheric beings coming in. Like I had seen them in my mind, but then after I did that process, that's when I was starting to see them with my eyes open and having them come in more. So yeah, Galactic Astrology on my website, channeled art. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and asking questions. It was an honor to talk with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. And backing up, yeah, we got Christina B.
Christina B. Okay, so my name is Christina Becker. My business is called Nourish. It's a Starseed sanctuary, and I really am on a mission to help Starseeds and light workers in whatever way I can through Galactic Akashic Records reading, Starseed reading, energy healing, and mentoring. And for next year, going to be some events coming where I want to do online meditations to take people to the different planets to meet their ancestors. And I do want to offer a discount. Anybody who's in here today for the panel, I think it's in the chat somewhere. Just use the Starseed code as checkout to get 20% off. I do everything virtually, and that's it. I think I also want to thank all the participants. You know, we're here for you, and we learn from you so much. So you are part of our journey and a really important part of it. And I also want to thank Laureli and the other panelists. It's always a joy to be here, and I'm feeling really nourished right now. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Christina B. And Celestial Mystic Christina.
All right. I'm Christina, Celestial Mystic.
owner of Crystal Quartz Metaphysical Shop. I believe my specials are in the chat. I am doing a 15% off a multidimensional soul intuitive reading or a cosmic clarity consultation. I really appreciate this space and learning from everyone and the participants asking questions. Laureli, thank you for creating this space. It's really great to come together with people and different opinions and different experiences and come together and assist others and assist each other, basically. So thank you.
You are very welcome, and people can find you at KristaQuartz.com, KristaQuartz.com, and all the information,
Yes.
yeah, on your specials in the chat. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes, read your soul. Like we all read each other's eyes all the time. And I answer questions about your soul, your purpose, your path, your lessons, relationships you're in. I help you find relationships. It might be a soulmate or a business partner, all kinds of different things. And you can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com or matchmakingsoulmates.com. And we at MeWe Fairs have lots more happening online. We've got our online fair happening this Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time, Monday, October 23. So on Monday, Lisa Stewart and I do drop-in business coaching and mentoring for those starting growing intuitive businesses. And on Halloween, Tuesday, October 31, we have Metaphysical Singles Mingle. So if you're not out doing Halloween activities, you can connect with other dating metaphysical people. And then our panel on the occult and the paranormal is coming up on Thursday, November 1. In person, I help run the BEPC Conscious Wellness Expo, the largest fair of its type in Washington, and we are on November 4-5 in Kent in the Seattle area. And then I'm going to be, and even before then, I'm going to be in Ashland. So in a week and a half, I'll be in Ashland for the very first time, October 28, 29. So spreading to the south of Oregon. Thanks everyone for doing this together with us. We are able to do this because we do this all together. You enable us to reach so many more people because we continue to have these events, you on the panel and you in the audience. And you can find out more about all the events we have at MeWeFairs.com. Thanks so much everyone for being here.
Thank you.
All right, great. Get the recording off and